What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Who You Got with
Melo.
and Rado. It's a sports podcast where we talk your favorite sports debates, sports highlights, and sports matchups. Thank you guys for watching. We got a big week ahead of you guys, ahead of us, and we had a long season ahead of us. And I'm talking about the NBA, and we're talking
Oh yes, oh yes.
NBA play-in and NBA playoffs are coming up, right, Melo?
Oh yes. So we're pretty much right in the beginning of NBA play in. This is the third year that they implemented it, and obviously right after that we go straight into the playoffs. Pretty much no break for us and the players. It's just gonna be a hectic couple months, and already. And I'll be honest, it was seeming like a short season because it just seemed like we were talking about the Warriors and the Celtics just a while ago, but already we're a few months away from crowning another NBA
It seems
champion.
like the NBA season is like the longest season. I mean, they go from like November all the way to like June, the end of June. So like you're pretty much talking about them all year. But I mean, real quick
Oh yeah.
before we even get started on this episode, this is a big milestone for us, right? I mean, we pretty much started this podcast 2 years ago, and the first episode that we ever did was the NBA play-in episode, 2021.
And that was the first year that they actually did the play-in tournament. So we pretty much started our first episode with that play-in tournament. We described to our fans what it
Yep.
was, what's going on. It was new to everyone. The last year they made some
Yep.
and they made a few more adjustments, and I think they kind of found what they're sticking with. So definitely, before we get into it, definitely want to say, definitely big milestone. This is now going to be our third year going into Who You Got. Definitely want to say thank you to all the fans who've been with us. We continue to improve, we continue to learn, and we definitely continue to want to give you guys better and more sports content, sports everything related, just giving you guys all the things that you love. So we want to say thank you for the people that's been following us.
Exactly. Really, thank you guys. It's been a hell of a ride, and we love it. Every single minute of it. We love giving you guys like all the sports knowledge that we have, and also just having like some awesome debates and literally talking about some awesome different matchups and different sports. So it's been awesome. Really, it's been great. Like, and definitely thank you for being a great co-host as well, Mello. We've had some
Oh
great debates
yes.
on this, but it just makes us love it more. I don't know. I don't know about you, but for me, that's how it is.
Oh yes, no, we definitely been doing that thing, and obviously, I can definitely say I do a couple other things with a couple other people, even on other podcasts. But I definitely want to say you are one of the best people I work with, and a lot of the things that you see happening, including a lot of our production and stuff. I definitely want to give up to our boy Rado. He puts in a lot of work, and definitely, you know how we do. We're gonna
Appreciate
continue
that.
to do
Appreciate
more.
that. But definitely give yourself some big ups too. The blogs, the websites. We definitely got it all for you guys, and we will talk about that a little bit more where you guys can find us. But let's get started on this NBA play-in. And before we really get
Hmm.
started with it, and we talk about the matchups, let's tell the folks kind of what it is again for those that didn't watch it last year. And honestly, 2 years ago it was slightly different because they didn't have the 10th seed. So let's tell the folks what the play-in is.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead. Basically, we have 14.
Our Exactly. Then you got pretty much the ninth and 10th place teams on the East and the West. They have to play two playing games because they have to play the first one against each other. Ninth and 10th team plays each other, and then they move on to the next playing game. And then the winner of the ninth and 10th plays the loser of the 7th and 8th game that took place before. So then pretty much the winner of the 9 and 10 and the loser of the 7 and 8 have to fight it out for that 8 spot. And whoever wins that game gets the 8 spot. And that's how your playoffs are pretty much decided. It's interesting how the NBA did it, but it gives a lot more parity to the league and obviously brings in more teams to the playoffs.
Definitely, I do believe a big part of that was they got they don't want tanking. They've been doing a lot of changes to the draft. They want to say, hey, at least as long as you're not really the bottom two or three teams in the conference, you can still really compete and at least try to get into a playoff position. Obviously, not everyone can win a championship, but they definitely do want to try to increase the
Yeah,
competition by
that's what
doing
they try
this.
to do, but
I
I
personally
don't know
think
if it's working.
it's a little. I think it's a little messed up that you're forcing a seventh seed to fight for a playoff position.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'll be honest, I'm not mad at it. We're gonna see good basketball. It definitely made the end of the season lot better. The West
So
completely
that's what I was
crazy.
gonna say with this. I think that this year, for sure, the West deserves that play-in tournament because you saw it from fourth seed all the way to like 11th seed almost. They were like 4 games apart, and that was going in towards the end of the season. The last 5 games of the season, it was like that too. So a lot of things like could have happened in the West, and even like the 10th spot team is almost as good as like a 5th spot team. So like there you definitely need it, but for the East it was a little bit unfair. I mean the 7th seed shouldn't definitely have to
Hmm.
compete with the 10th seed Raptors, but we definitely have to talk about that. Except I don't know if this really helped with the tanking because I don't know. I mean, you were right about the Dallas Mavericks not making the playoffs. You made this prediction, after Kyrie got traded, and that was a great prediction by you. I definitely thought they were going to make the playoffs. They didn't, but you saw at the end of the season, they pretty much looked like they were, I don't know, can't say necessarily tanking, but,
I mean, it was one game. I I don't know what would make them decide. Like, did losing one game and missing the playoffs get them that much
They
closer?
got a so
Pick.
this is what I heard. They got a top 10 pick, and if they didn't have a top 10 pick, it would have had to move to New York. New York held their this year's pick, but it's top 10 protected.
Okay. I
So
mean, at the end of the day, they were already on just losing while trying to win. So I guess that one game, a lot of people sought out their stars, but I guess they could have won a playoff spot. So I do see, but at that point, even winning a playoff spot, they just know you're not beating nobody in the West.
right,
Let alone the Nuggets without a big man on your roster and no defense. It's over.
yeah, and they definitely didn't want to go into the playoffs knowing that they were just gonna get out quick. But talking about them, they didn't make the playoffs. Let's talk about the teams that are fighting. First for that eighth seed right now. Let's talk about that. Sorry, this is for
Or
the
the
seventh seed.
seven.
Excuse me. Sorry, the seventh seed.
Yep.
We're gonna talk about the 7 and 8 matchup. We're gonna go into the East. Talk about Atlanta, Atlanta Hawks. They're in there versus the Miami Heat. I mean, these are two franchises, both of them that have been in the Eastern Conference Finals the last, 3 years. They've been in the Eastern Conference Finals, and now they're in a play-in. What do you expect from this game?
Honestly, this game. Well, first, I don't care who win this game. They're gonna lose in the first round, anyways. Let me just say that.
Ooh,
Definitely have to tell you that
early
you already know
prediction.
how I feel. Big C's up. You already know how I feel. But definitely this is gonna be a good game. So the play-in tournament obviously has only been around for a few years, but as funny as it is, this is actually a game that the playing game is dependent on a matchup that was actually in the playoffs last year. And truthfully, that playoff series had a lot of things that led up to this playing game. Basically, at that point, it was clear as day. When first Miami beat the Hawks.
Yep,
At that point, Miami was actually the first seed, and the Hawks were the eighth seed.
beat them
Um,
4-1.
exactly, and it was clear as day that they had no one else but Trey Young that can handle the ball. So pretty much coming into this year's matchup, the big thing is well, Miami's not that much different. You still got Butler, you still got Bam. Those are still the guys. But obviously, the big thing over in Atlanta is they went and got DeAndre Murray, was to someone else who could handle that ball. So seeing the Miami Heat force that, like we kind of knew that, but they had a good year. They scraped the play-in tournament, got in the eighth seed, did their thing, but obviously Miami exposed them. Like Miami have way too many perimeter defenders to be able to. There, no one else could step up. There was no one else who could step up. So definitely love that this is now the first matchup we get to see to actually decide who is seventh seed. And I think it's gonna be a good matchup. Really force each other to pull out the strengths. So how do you think this matchup is gonna lean?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I mean, we saw this matchup last year, but it's just interesting to me more so that both of these teams have been so hot in the Eastern Conference, and now they're literally fighting for a playoff spot. I mean, obviously
Hmm.
Miami, like last year, Eastern Conference Finals,
They
Atlanta,
were number one.
yeah, what is it? They didn't.
They were number one seed,
Yeah, they were one seed, and
Miami,
yeah,
and now they're fighting for a seven seed.
exactly. And Atlanta a few years ago, they were number one seed, if you remember, and they actually made it to the Eastern Conference Finals as well. So it's just interesting to how far these teams have fallen, and maybe not just that, but how good like the East is, and how much better some of the other teams are. But as far as this game, I for sure think that I thought that Murray was going to help Atlanta a lot. It didn't look like he did, even early in the season. I mean, yes, they had injuries with Trae Young early in the season. He was out a bunch of games, but towards the end of the season, it didn't seem like uh, with Murray and Young, they can just both have the ball in their hands. They're both primary ball handlers, and they really need the ball in their hands a lot. I mean, Trae Young is literally like one of the highest usage percentage players in the league, so he always needs the ball in his hands, and he dribbles around with it a lot. So you see that maybe they're not the best fit. But as far as like this game, I do think that Miami is going to be a problem for Atlanta. I mean, especially down low, I still think Bam is going to be a problem. And you got three guys that can score over 20. I mean, you got Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Hero. They can all score over 20, and they're averaging over 20 points. So I don't think that, honestly, Atlanta even has the firepower to keep up with these guys. But what you said about Boston, I don't know if, I mean, you said that this is already over for Boston, but I'll tell you one thing, though.
I mean, it's gonna be a tough series,
And
but
I don't want to talk about
that
the
don't matter
series
who's
yet at
coming
all,
to the
but I'll
next
tell you one
round.
thing. If they have to play Miami, this is going to be a tough, tough first round for Boston, bro. A very tough round. Because if you remember, they played last year as well. And they took them to 7 games. I'm just saying, though, they took them to 7 games. I mean, they took it, but
And think about it, we got better and they got worse.
they definitely seemed like they got worse in the regular season. But Miami, like, I will say that they play good against good competition. They have shown that.
No,
They have shown that.
Jimmy plays
I mean,
good
we could
against
definitely
good
talk about playoff
competition.
Jimmy
It's
too.
Jimmy that we scared off in
We could
playoff
talk about
Jimmy.
playoff Jimmy.
That's who we scared of. Anyone else, I ain't worried about. I ain't worried about no damn Bam out of bio. He's gonna go off for one game in the series, and the rest of the game he's gonna average 9.
I mean,
I don't want to hear that. But
I don't
before
know.
he got to get through this game. Now, mind you, he's got a lot to deal with. They're gonna definitely throw Clinton Capella, John Collins, DeAndre Hunter if they have to, but I feel like DeAndre Hunter would probably be on Jimmy. But they're definitely gonna throw a lot of big bodies at Jimmy and Butler. Or not Jimmy and Butler, but Jimmy and Bam. So I definitely do think that before we start hatching our eggs talking about Boston, they gotta worry about trade. Cause like I said, obviously, Trey decided to go get some help. You got a good backcourt, both of them averaging 20. Trey is averaging over 10 assists. DeAndre is getting you 6 assists and 5 rebounds. So I definitely do think that they both should be able to split not only the responsibilities but also find a way to split that defense that was just so suffocating on Trey last year. And obviously, them front court big men got to step up. So I definitely do think that this is gonna be a tough fought matchup.
Uh,
Miami won 3 out
They
of the
did,
4
and
this
I
year,
was gonna say
but all of them was single
they
digits
have in
though.
single digits, but
So they were all close
but
games.
I don't think that like down low you're gonna have much trouble. I think Bam is gonna do his thing. I mean, the last 4 matchups that they played, he's been averaging
Eh.
25 and 10 against Atlanta. So I think that he plays amazing against them. I mean, and one thing about Trey Young, he doesn't shoot well against Atlanta. He shoots 43% when he plays Atlanta. So that I'm sorry, when he plays Miami. When he plays
No,
Miami.
historically, no, historically, they suffocate him. They definitely do suffocate him. That I think they. What was the number you
He
said?
shoots 43% the last 4 games against
Yeah,
them
and they hold him.
this year.
They hold him from under. They hold him under 20 points
Mm.
historically when he plays them. So he's definitely not the best against him. But obviously, that should improve. But for me, I'll be honest. I ain't really too worried about Bam. Like I do understand he. I'll be honest. You know what? Because this is me just thinking about next round. He will have a good game.
He's usually great against
I
them.
think he does have a good game. Yes, he is, and I think there ain't no one over there who can stop Jimmy. So the problem is, who's going to be able to put pressure on those two big boys over there in Miami, and can they?
Right, right. And honestly, I expect Tyler Hero to ball out too. I think that he's gonna get around 20, 25 points this game. I'm not sure if or Jimmy's gonna ball out because I do think that they're gonna give it to Bam more in this game. I think that Bam's gonna ball out inside. He's gonna get over 20. Tyler Hero is definitely gonna get over 20 in this game. And I'll be honest, I got this game as a little bit of a blowout, I guess you could say. I got it a 9 point game. I'll say it right now. I got 108 to 101. Miami winning it.
Oh,
Miami.
okay. That's what
Yeah, I
you
got
got,
Miami. What about you
Miami.
though? Who you got?
All right. I'll be honest. Historically, Trey Young don't do well against the Heat. Um, Jimmy's just a dog. Playoff Jimmy, we already know what we're gonna get. I do think Bam has a great game before he becomes a dud in the next round. And obviously, I do understand, and I do see that Miami is on their own revenge tour. So they definitely want to get their win, and it's on their own court. So I definitely do got Miami winning this. A lot of motivation going into this to try to beat Trey Young again and get to Boston matchup. So I definitely do got them winning. I got this a Heat 116 to 108 win. So I got to buy eight
Nice,
points.
nice. Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree. I just think they got too much firepower over there, and Atlanta's gonna have to figure some things out after this year. You know, with different pieces,
A
especially
lot of things.
Capella and Hunt or not Hunter, but John Collins as well. But you know,
Hmm.
going from a team in the West with a big like Capella to I'm sorry, a team in the East with Capella to a team in the West that's gonna be missing their big for the playing game. The Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Los Angeles Lakers are playing in the playing game, and of course, this game has got a lot of little stories behind it. Just because all things that have been going on. Obviously, the last game of the season, Rudy Gobert had an incident with his own teammate in the bench, and his team suspended him for the playing game. Um, so that's a big storyline in this game. Of course, in the middle of the season, the Lakers traded to get D'Angelo Russell on their team, which was obviously huge, and Jared Vanderbilt as well. So a lot of big storylines in this game. Who you got for this one? Exciting West matchup.
I mean, you said it, man. Storylines. This is a storyline about one team, like you said, made those crucial midseason trades. Got D'Angelo Russell, Vanderbilt, Hachimura. Pretty much have been one of the hottest teams in the league, winning 18 of their last 26 after they got those players. Then on the other end, you got a team that not only are just have just been doing horrible after midseason. Pretty much have been playing straight even, like losing three, winning four, or like pretty much winning three, going for two losses, winning one, going for one again. Just kind of you don't really
The
know
last
what you're
25
getting,
games,
and
they're
then
13 and 12, so they're literally almost 500, which is crazy.
yeah, exactly. So and then it's not like a consistent like you just don't know what Timberwolves teams you're getting. And then they just decided to end off the season on the worst note they possibly can. Basically a couple weeks ago, they lost their best perimeter or one of their best big men, Nas Reed, one of their backups, pretty much their only backup big that they really had. Then you just said the whole Gobert hitting Kyle Anderson. He's now suspended for this game. And then
Yeah,
somehow
yeah,
Jaden
they're gonna bench him,
McDaniels, their
McDaniels.
best perimeter defender, punched a wall, and now he broke his hand and he's out the remainder of the
Crazy
season.
out for the season for
So
punching a
pretty
wall. Like,
much,
damn, bro. Like, how mad did you get? Like,
nah, I ain't gonna lie. Who was it? Shout out to my boy B Frank, I think. Homeboy in college. He definitely I'm pretty sure he punched a wall or glass or something after a game, and definitely was out for a
or
while.
at least it's not the weirdest
But
injury
yeah,
though in these playoffs. Because I mean, my man Jalen Brown over here dropping vases and getting 5 stitches in his hand. So definitely not the weirdest injury.
hey, listen. But at this point, they don't want no
Yes, yeah,
injuries.
yeah.
So horrible end to the season. I mean, what can you say? No one knows what we're gonna get out of the Lakers team. Yeah, they're hot, but how far are they realistically going to go in the playoffs? They really can go far if all the pieces fall together, but the same can be said about almost any team in the top seven. So we definitely don't know what we're going to get. Uh, I think he's still dealing with somewhat of an injury. I think it's his ankle or his foot or something like that. So we're definitely gonna see what they're gonna do to try to match up against each other. But at this point, Minnesota's missing their
Yeah.
best big. Minnesota's missing their best perimeter defender. Minnesota's missing their best backup big. And I don't know if that team even know what's going on. So I don't really know what to expect from both teams because what Lakers like are they going to be hot? Are they going to shoot good? Are they not? So I definitely want to hear your thoughts on what you think is going to be the outcome of this game before I let you know who I think definitely wins
Yeah,
this.
well, I mean, Lakers they have been hot lately. I mean, starting out the season at 2-10, horrific start, just terrible. But
Yeah.
I mean, after that trade, after all those trades they made, mid season, after the trade deadline, they've been like you said. I mean, they won 18 out of the last 26 games. What 20 or 18-7 or 18-8? Is that what they are? Which is, I mean, it's a credible record. That's a great record. If you look at that, it's probably like top 2 or 3 records in the NBA after the All Star break.
Hottest team.
Yeah. So
No, that's the best record after the
are
trade
they? Yeah, yeah.
deadline.
Because I know Knicks were
Yeah.
hot too, and so was Milwaukee for a little bit, but yeah, then yeah, I guess the LA Lakers the hottest team since the trade deadline. So right there, I mean, it tells you that those trades meant something, and we even talked about the midseason trades, how much this meant to this team. I think that like some of these trades they might have not been like those sexy names that you hear or those stars. I mean, D'Angelo Russell's no scrub, so he's definitely a great pickup for the Lakers. He knows how to play with LeBron very well, and he's learned that because he played with Kobe at one time at one point, and he's played with a guy that holds the ball pretty much in his hands most of the game, so he knows how to play with those type of guys. He's helped him a lot. Jared Vanderbilt's helped him a lot. So I know Vanderbilt and D'Angelo Russell are going to want to show something in this game against Minnesota.
Hmm.
And I think that the guy from Minnesota that's got to step up has got to be Anthony Edwards, man. I mean, this man is like 21 years old. He's going to be the face of the league soon, like in 5 years maybe. He's got to step it up in this game if they have any chance. If they have any chance. Now, I'm not saying that they necessarily do, but I'm gonna give them a shot because I do think with shooters, you can't beat a Lakers team like this. The Lakers are great down low. They defend really good down low. I mean, with Wayne Gabriel and with Anthony Davis, they're gonna be able to defend very well down low, and they're. I think Anthony Davis is gonna ball out, get like at least 25 and 10 in this game. He's just going to be balling as long as they play him the amount of minutes that they should. And LeBron's going to do his thing like he always does. But I do think that Minnesota does have a shot. Minnesota has a shot if they can make their threes. I mean, I definitely think that the guy that you're really gonna have to look at is Anthony Edwards. I'm not saying that he's actually going to score like 30, 35, but I could see him getting like 27 points, something like that. I mean, I do want to see what Kyle Anderson does in this game as well because he's, usually their second best scorer if Cat is not playing well. And I don't know if Cat is going to play.
Well, that's the thing. You need Cat to
That's the
play
thing.
well. There's no way this thing. This isn't the story every year. Before they had Rudy Gobert, it's like, all right, we're in the playoffs. We need Cat to perform. What Cat are we getting? Is he going to give us 10 points? Is he going to give
Yeah.
us 30? Would no other big man to really rely on? Not only do we need Cat to score at least 25, we need him to also be a defensive threat. Find a way to stop AD and pretty much be a force in the paint. So I don't know if we're going to see that, but I know Edwards gonna have to go off as well. He's probably gonna have to be the primary scorer as a ball handler. But basically, they have to feed the big man and find a way to get him going if they have a chance of
They
winning
do.
this
It's just the
game.
problem with Cat. Like whenever he plays the Lakers, and just the last 4 times he played the Lakers, he scored 15 points, averaged like 15 points against the Lakers. So he doesn't play good against them. I don't know if that's I don't know what that is. I think that's just him trying to shoot more when he plays against the Lakers, and you know, that's what it could be. I mean, Anthony Davis is a decent defender. He's skinny, but he's a decent defender.
No, he's not a decent defender. He's a great
He is a great
defender.
defender. I
That
did have
man
him
has
as
been in the conversation for defensive player of the year multiple years in a
right.
row. The only thing he's ever against him is his injury.
That's true.
He's definitely a great defender, and truthfully, it's definitely a lot to do with Anthony Davis. Like the man is literally all right. So take it for instance, this year they played 3 times. I think Minnesota won twice, but the one time that both LeBron and Davis played together, obviously they lost. But Davis in 2 games that he has played is averaging 38 and 11. So, and that was against Gobert and Cat this year. So my man is going off. He eats. It's always free eats every time he play the Minnesota Timberwolves. So the Cat got to find a way to step it up if they want to go into the play and turn. If they want to, because basically the winner of this, and we forgot to mention, winner of this plays Grizzlies. So definitely, whoever want a chance to move on and face the Grizzlies, basically gotta find a way to step it up.
Grizzlies got their own problems with their bigs as well, so we can even
So
talk about
yes,
them. We will in the next episode. But I definitely think that with the Lakers, it's obviously gonna have to come down to LeBron and AD. If they're able to like run this game smoothly, I could definitely see them. I could see them pulling away in the fourth, but for me, the question really is Anthony Edwards. That's the guy that's really my key to this game, the X factor, the guy that can really change the game. Because if he really plays well and he just shows out in that playing game, then they can really, really just make like some sort of sleeper, some sort of sleeper win that nobody's gonna expect. For me though, I do expect LeBron to ball out. I expect him to do his thing, and I think the revenge tour is gonna happen for Russell and for Vanderbilt. I think those are guys that are gonna wanna, you know, make some noise right now. I think Vanderbilt's gonna try to score a few threes, and Russell's gonna do his thing. I think LeBron and AD are gonna ball out. I've got the Lakers winning this game, but I think it's gonna be a close one, man. I think it's gonna be a close one. I only got it a 4 point game. I got this 115,
mm.
111.
Okay, Lakers 115, 111.
Yeah. What about you though?
All
Who
right.
you got this one? Who you think's gonna take it?
So basically, at this point, without your best two defenders that were literally supposed to be guarding their best two offensive players, basically without McDaniels and without Gobert, I don't see a way that they just don't dominate this game. I definitely do think Cat has to step up to make it competitive. But if not, I definitely do see the Lakers running away with this one, and I see it as a Lakers win, 120 to 109.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. Like, we talked about the Minnesota Timberwolves when they first got Rudy Gobert, and I don't know if you remember this, but like, I totally said that this was not gonna work. I even had them early in the season.
Oh
I
yeah,
had them in the playing tournament. I knew that they were gonna be a playing team. I didn't think they were gonna make any noise this year. I mean, yeah, they made the big trade where they lost D'Angelo Russell, but then again, I mean, you thought that this team was gonna come out hot. They were gonna have the two-headed monster. I don't think it's been working, and even now, uh, with them, I don't know why they would suspend Rudy Gobert in the most important game of the season, pretty
they
much.
have no choice. He physically put his hands on
I
another
get it,
player in front of
but it
everybody.
wasn't the NBA suspending him. This was the team suspending him. If it was the NBA, then I would
Yeah,
understand it, but it was the team that suspended him. I know they were trying to set a precedent because they don't want like other teammates to be doing the same thing. But why not fine him for fine him for this season, fine him like $100,000, and then make him miss the first 10 games of the season or first five the next year or something like that. This is an important
because
game.
he's also been playing trash.
Yeah, yeah, but they need
That's
him.
why.
They need him. I'll be honest. Like
I,
without him, they're not winning this game at all. With him, they would have had a better shot.
I mean, he's giving him 13, 11, I
The
guess.
defense too, though.
But
He
definitely,
has been defensive player of the
yeah.
year 3 times.
Yeah, but he's also been really getting cooked this year. That's what I'm saying. He's really been falling off. But either way, I definitely do agree with you. The Lakers should be running away with this one. So to recap, we got the Heat getting the seventh spot in the East, and my score was 116 to 108. What was your score?
I got an 8 point game, 109, 101. Yeah.
And then to recap, in the West, we both got the Lakers taking that seventh seed. I got mine's 120 to
I
109.
got 115, 111. The Lakers winning it.
N- nice, nice. Um, and that's definitely
Those are
like I
yeah
said,
two the
the
two seeds that are gonna be you know or the two seventh seeds that are gonna be one from those two games right there, and those are gonna be some tough matchups. But whoever wins is gonna be interesting. Is definitely gonna be interesting.
and
But going from
and the
those,
eighth seed is not in. I was saying the eighth seed is not out the picture yet. Just to remind the fans, they will get a chance to face the winner of the ninth versus 10th. But pretty much, you were going to tell us what we are going to talk about
exactly. I
next.
mean, the 9-10 matchup is gonna be Chicago, Toronto, and Oklahoma City, New Orleans, and those teams are gonna have to fight with the losers of Minnesota, Lakers, Miami, Atlanta. So we'll talk about that in the next episode because we are going to talk about whoever's going to win the seventh seed. But I wanted to talk about since there's a lot of series in the playoffs, I kind of wanted to start us off with two of the hottest series right now in the playoffs, and they're some of the most intriguing series. And these are the 4 or 5 matchups in both the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. Now, in the Eastern Conference, we got the New York Knicks versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. In the Western Conference, we got the LA Clippers versus the Suns. Um, I wanted to talk about those two series, and why don't we start it off? Which one you want to hit up?
Yes. So basically, you already know. 4 versus 5 is always a good matchup. Sometimes, well, most of the time, you pretty much get even
Good even
matchups.
teams.
Sometimes it's all right. Whoever's getting this, are they gonna be able to make it to the next round? Are they gonna be able to move forward? So pretty much, I definitely do think these are gonna be some good teams. But I definitely want to start off with the Clippers versus the Suns. But before we do that, do you want to go ahead and
Yeah, just wanted to make sure that if you guys are watching the video, make sure you guys click that like button and subscribe to the channel. We love you guys, and we love you guys following with us and every sport that we talk about. Also, if you guys definitely want to check us out on Patreon, that's the place to go where you guys can ask us questions, give some general support to the stream. If you guys just want to go ahead and just give general support, then we have that level for you. But then there's the higher levels where you guys can get some merch from the Who You Got podcast. We got some really cool shirts, hoodies, and all that good stuff over there at patreon.com/who you got. Also, if you guys are listening, make sure that you subscribe to the podcast too, wherever you get your podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, as well as all over the metaverse. Definitely check us out. But if you want everything all at once, Melo, why don't you tell them about that?
Yes, definitely. You already know where we're at www.whoyougotpodcast.com. Pretty much got access to everything there. We got access to the blogs, access to the podcast, links in almost anywhere you could think of, access to our YouTube channel where you can see all of our videos, access to our merch where you can pretty much get all of our stuff, and obviously access to the Patreon. Pretty much, we got everything you need there. If you want to go ahead and, like Rado said, give us that support on Patreon, go ahead and give us that. We got a lot of things set up for you guys, and we want to make sure that we keep giving you guys the good sports content we can.
Exactly. And of course, if you guys just want to follow us on our Instagram, check me out at the Iconic Dude and Mellow.
Mellow
Of
Notorious.
course. So definitely, we got all that good stuff for you guys and more. But before we end the episode, like I said, I want us to talk about these 4 or 5 matchups. These are incredible matchups. I mean, uh, the LA Clippers versus the Phoenix Suns. This could be the most intriguing matchup in all of the first round, and not just like because you got so many stars, but the potential for an injured
Mm-hmm.
star to come back during this series and really make this a very 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 interesting series. The LA Clippers, of course, they're missing Paul George right now. He last week of the season he got injured, and they said that they were gonna evaluate him, and especially like in the first round, they were gonna reevaluate him. And of course, we know the Phoenix Suns, what they did. Obviously, they were in the finals recently a few years ago, and then they made a huge, huge trade for Kevin Durant in the middle of the season. Now you got the four-headed monster of Chris Paul, Booker, Kevin Durant, and DeAndre Ayton. This is gonna be an incredible series, man. Who you got for this one, and what's your analysis for this one?
Man, this is a crazy series, and truthfully, a lot of it depends on the return of Paul George. If we're being honest, you got two teams that potentially, fully healthy, both have a real shot at actually winning the whole thing. If we're being
Yes,
honest, so
100%.
um, like you said, the Suns made a blockbuster trade, got Kevin Durant. Didn't have to give up Aiton, only gave up a few core pieces. But at this point, they are probably one of the best starting lineups on paper. Obviously, over there in the Clipper side, you have a great duo in Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. The addition of Russell Westbrook, a deep bench that knows how to shoot and play defense. You're looking at a great team. And both, like I said, both teams were looking to go far. So definitely. To see how this series will start off without Paul George, we're gonna have to see what Kawhi Leonard is gonna be willing to give us. It's been a while since we've seen Kawhi Leonard have to be able to uh do this, basically take the reins, be that lead guy, and take over. We're gonna see how the load management work, how these back to backs work, and really see. I think he's gonna have to give us 30 plus for them to stay in this series long enough for Paul George to get back, if that's possible. Another person we got to see who got to step up is Russell Westbrook. We definitely got to see him get an increase in usage in the smart way, and definitely make sure that he plays smart ball. Don't play too fast, but still allow his speed and athleticism to allow him to do what he do. So I definitely do love this series. A lot of star matchups. KD versus Kawhi.
It's gonna be great.
Someone's gonna have to guard Westbrook. I don't know who can guard Booker. Like they just got so many people on the Sun side. I don't know what they can expect. If Paul George come back, Booker versus PG is going to be a fantastic matchup to watch. So definitely going to see what this series can really bring us. I don't know. I When it comes to who I think is going to win, um,
See, it's tough, isn't it? Because even
yeah.
without Paul George, I gotta say, I think that this is gonna be a crazy series because I think both of these teams are very good playing on the road, and both of these teams can win on the road, and that's what they've been good at. Even without KD early in the season, Phoenix was so good playing on the road. The LA Clippers, they're known for obviously their defense and how Ty Lue, is a great defensive coach as well, and they actually have a great defensive team, not just Kawhi Leonard, who we all know is as the Claws Defensive Player of the Year at one point, but obviously like guys like Bones Highland and Terrence Mann and Eric Gordon, these are guys that can really defend. Norman Powell as well as a big guy that can defend. So you got defenders there. Some of the keys are definitely going to be the bigs, especially Ibaka Zubac versus DeAndre Ayton is going to be a huge matchup because we know DeAndre Ayton, he can tear up a lot of teams in the West, and he has been tearing up the Clippers when they've been playing. He's been close to getting like 20 points. He's at like 17 points in the last three matchups against the Clippers. So he's definitely been balling out against them. Uh, I do think that the Clippers got guys that can score though. Now you've seen the resurgence of Russell Westbrook, and he is on some sort of a revenge tour as well. He wants to show people that they weren't counting him out, and
Hmm.
the Clippers have been starting to put him in a starting lineup as well. And you saw just recently he got like 36 points in a game just the last week of the season. He did that. So going into the
Yeah, he's
playoffs,
been going
the
off.
man's got a lot of not just like hype for himself, but he's also got like a chip on his shoulder that he's like, well, I've been to like four different teams in 4 years. Nobody really wants me, and let me just show you guys what I still got left in the tank. So I think that he can be obviously a third option for the team like this. If Paul George comes back, it's going to be very interesting. But I want to book something right now. I think that the Clippers are gonna
Mm.
win the first game in this series. Book it right now. Clippers are winning that first game. It's in the Suns. It's in Phoenix, but I still think that the Clippers are gonna take it even without Paul George. That first game is gonna be taken by them. They play very good defense, and like I said, they play very good on the road. I think that translates a lot, and three pointers translate with guys like Covington, Morris, obviously Gordon, and Highland pretty much and Bones Highland. Like they can score a bunch of threes. And I do think that they're gonna take that game one. I think that Phoenix is kind of uh, they are feeling they're feeling a little. I'm not necessarily scared, but this is not the matchup they wanted for the first round. Like this is definitely not the matchup they wanted. They would have been happy getting somebody like maybe Minnesota or even like OKC if they could have moved all the way up, to the fifth seed. They didn't want this matchup, but I do think that at least for the first game, I think that LA Clippers got it. The rest of the series, I'll tell you in a second, but I want to know what you think about that. Do you think that they could win the first game possibly?
I mean, honestly, uh, it's in Phoenix,
Yeah, it's in
right?
Phoenix. It's in Phoenix.
Yeah, no.
Mm.
Monty Williams been doing a great job with this roster. Booker's been having a great year. Everyone's back from injury. There's too many pieces on the Sun side. Uh, I don't know if they're gonna figure it out. They were 2-2 in the season series, but basically, they really didn't have their full team. In none of those matchups, neither team. So it's really hard to
One of
tell off
those
of this
Clippers
when it
wins.
comes to the season
One of those
series.
Clippers wins. They didn't even have Paul George or Kawhi.
Yes, I remember that. So it's really hard to tell off these matchups. But I definitely don't think they take the first game. And I'll be honest. I don't think that they take the series. There's a chance that Paul George might come back. But Kawhi and Westbrook, I do not think is enough firepower to deal with what we have over there, and I definitely don't think that Zubac is. I'll be honest, his weakness is dropping off that pick and roll in the mid range, and that's exactly where Phoenix feast. That's exactly where they make their money at. So I definitely don't think that they win the first game or win the series, and I actually got the Suns winning this series 4-2.
4-2. Wow.
I do get them winning.
Suns and
I'll
six.
be honest, so I do got them winning the second
Mm-hmm.
game. I do
You
think.
think
I
they're
mean,
gonna win
hey,
one
at the
on
end
the
of the
road?
day, I got them
Yeah.
winning. I do think they win on one in a row, but I just don't think it's the first game. But you know what? Actually, you're right because truthfully, if they have a best shot, it's gonna be the first one. Um,
So a lot a lot
yeah,
of the Twitter talk has been Clippers and six, Clippers and six, and I don't know why they've been saying that. I
that's
was
not
gonna say like
happening.
I don't know why they've been saying that. I don't know why that was
I mean, it
trending.
might even be Suns and
I was
seven.
just gonna say, well, if
But
anything,
nah.
it might be Clippers and seven, but Clippers and six. Come on now, without Paul George, like y'all got to calm that down right now, because without Paul George, just this is not. There's no way the Clippers are gonna win in six. There's no way. Let's just get that out of the table. I do believe that they're gonna win the first game, just because the reasons I say that. I think that they are a hot team. Especially when they get off in the first round hot and they can score threes. They play good on the road. I think they could take the first one. Now going towards the rest of the series, they are going to start to figure each other out. I do expect Booker and KD to start taking over the series, but honestly, I expect actually more KD and Aiton to take over the series, really, because I do think Aiton is going to play well
Oh yeah.
against Zubac, and KD's just going to show off his scoring prowess. Now, this is going to be interesting if Paul George comes back game five. Let's say they're two
And
two
start locking up
Let's say
Booker.
there's 2-2 going into game five. That's going to be interesting. Paul George comes back. I just think it might be too little too late. I still got the Suns winning it, but I got this as a 7-game series. I think this is going to be an amazing series. Even without Paul George, I think it's going to go 7 games. I just think that the way the Clippers play defensively, they play every good team tough. And they have been playing, very well on the road. So I do believe that they have a shot, but it's just not a closing shot because I do think Game 7 KD closes, gets like 40 points and wins a nice playoff series and shows off why the Suns need him. I mean, there's a reason why they were almost undefeated when KD's been on the floor with the Suns. I just think that we are gonna see some good things from the Clippers though. Don't think that they're just gonna give up.
Oh no, it's definitely gonna be a tough matchup. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes seven. But I just think that the firepower, even with the full Clippers team, is just going to be too little, too late. Even if it's an even series, you're gonna have a Phoenix Sun teams that are really filling themselves out and defensively starting to figure out the Clippers. So Paul George starts adding different looks. But how useful is he gonna be coming right into the lineup is the question. So I definitely do. So I got a six because I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know how soon he comes back. I
Nobody
don't know if
does.
they allow him to come back,
Yeah.
depending how bad they're losing. Like it's just too much in the air. So I definitely got the Suns with way more firepower. Anyways, walking away with this for sure.
They definitely got more firepower for sure, and nobody knows when Paul George coming back. Could be game two, or as early as game two, just because the way that these series go on for a long time. I mean, uh, he's from the end of the season until game two. He's already gonna have like a week and a half, 2 weeks, and that's when they said that they were gonna look at him again. So, I mean, you never know. You never know. But we both got the Suns. We both got the Suns moving on, and I think we know why. It's because one of the best players in the world, Kevin Durant. But
Oh yeah, honestly, the Suns are one of the favorites to win it all. We'll definitely be tracking their journey throughout this playoffs and see if they can actually get there.
yeah, and I'll be honest, like I would have had the Clippers winning this series if they would have had Paul George going in the first game because I had the Clippers winning it all in the preseason NBA episode we did. I had them as my NBA preseason winner, but just without both of their guys, they can't do it. They can't do it. But let's go from one team that's you know that's got a few injuries to another team that finally figured out how to stay on the court together. And I'm talking about the New York Knicks, and they got to play the Cleveland Cavaliers. The New York Knicks are the fifth seed in the East. The Cleveland Cavaliers are the fourth seed. Of course, early in the season, we know what happened. The New York Knicks, they picked up Jalen Brunson from Dallas Mavericks. This was like last year, pretty much, of free agency. And Cleveland picked up Donovan Mitchell. So both of these guys got some
Hmm.
amazing stars to come, to their cities. And the Knicks have been looking incredible, and not just early in the season. Like they were look good early, then they started taking us like pretty much a slump until the All Star break. But since the All Star break, they've been looking pretty good, and they've been definitely one of the hottest teams since the All Star break. As far as the Cavaliers, though, I don't know. This is gonna be an amazing series because there's a lot of storylines for this one too. I don't know if you know this, but the New York Knicks had a shot to get Donovan Mitchell. They just didn't give him enough money for free agency,
As always,
and he decided to go with
as
Cleveland. So
always.
that's a huge storyline. So who you got for this series? Cleveland versus New York.
I mean, it's so crazy because this is honestly just like the last series. It really depends on your boy Randall. Another injury, and we don't know when he's coming back. He should be coming back this round. They shut him down for the rest of the season, knowing they were going to stay in the playoffs. So we don't know what we're getting. But definitely, these teams they know each other well. Um, Cleveland is the higher seed. Cleveland has more stars, bigger names. I mean, Darius Garland and Evan Mobley was doing their thing last year, and then they went and got Donovan Mitchell and took the whole team to a whole nother level. So they had a great year, and obviously, like you said, Jalen Brunson pretty much did the same exact thing for the Knicks. So both teams pretty much have the same trajectory. Obviously, they played four times this year. The Knicks won three times. But like I said, the Cavs have the better firepower, and they're the higher seed and technically the favorites in this series, especially without Randall starting. But they know each other well. The Knicks know how to play well against them, and this definitely won't be something that, even though all the favorites and all the names are on the Cavs side, where you could just write the Knicks off, even without Randall. Because obviously, as four times you play in a year, you're not playing with all your
Right.
stars.
Right.
So I definitely do think this is going to be a well fought, really tough series. Um, Cavs really got one of the best defense
Yes,
in
they
the
do.
leagues. They're lengthy, they're long. Obviously, we already know what they got. All them big boys running around, including Evan Mobley, who can do really well on the perimeter. Obviously, Jared Allen in the paint, blocking everything. Pretty much, they're gonna try to, especially starting off without Orlando. they're definitely going to try to start and be aggressive on Brunson and force him to funnel into the paint and pretty much get beat down there by their big man. Um, Granted, they're not all-star defenders, but they definitely do got some good defenders. Garland's not bad, but they even might maybe put a wing on Brunson if Randall's not there because there's no one else. Who else are you going to guard? So you might
True.
as well, throw your best defender, or even if he's a little longer. I'm not saying Mobley, but they definitely might not just leave it for Garland to actually to be matched up against him. So I definitely do think that they're gonna try to crowd him and just force him to make the role players come out, and definitely see how anyone else can score and who else is gonna come out that Knicks team and pretty much show up. I definitely do think there is a chance. This is a better chance than Paul George that Randall
Yeah, I
plays.
think I
He
think
actually
he's
has a
gonna
good
be.
shot of coming back after 1 or 2 games or even being available pretty
Yeah,
at
I think
game
he's
one.
gonna be evaluated during the playing game, so he might even be available game one.
Yeah, so I definitely do think he is crucial, and truthfully, that's going to be crucial for the next team. While playing against the Cavs, he pretty much averages 25, 10, and 4. Has good averages in the last couple matchups. Doing 45% overall and I think 34 at three. So he definitely plays well against them. Having someone like Brunson is good to take the pressure off. So I think this is going to be a series of defensive matchups, and he's a big part of whether the Knicks can actually survive that defensive onslaught if they can make it throughout the series and to the next round. On the other end, obviously, you already got just a bunch of people who's going at it. You're gonna have Mitch. You're gonna have Garland. I don't know how you're gonna stop both of them on every night. Definitely one of them is gonna go off for 30, and if you can, you're gonna stop only one of them, and you're gonna have a still getting 15 or something. So definitely do think that this is going to be a good series where it's going to be a lot of perimeter defending, trying to just cut each other off. But before I say who I think win, and I want to see what do you think about what we're going to get defensively, because like I said, I definitely think it's going to be a great defensive matchup, and for me specifically, that perimeter defense, not allowing pretty much uh, Garland, Mitchell, and Brunson to go off from either team.
As far as defensively, I do agree with you. I think it is going to be a great defensive matchup. Now, for me, it's going to be more the backcourt or not the front court, the backcourt more. I don't know about like the matchups with the point guards, but I do think that the Cleveland's got that two-headed monster that we were talking about that in Minnesota. You know how their two-headed monster is not really playing well together. Well, now you got Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley. They're playing so well together in Cleveland, and not only that, they're one of the best rebounding teams, and they're one of the best blocking teams as well. So they block very well. Both of these guys together, they rebound very well. They get offensive rebounds, and that's why I do think that it's going to be quite a challenge for New York to really score underneath. I mean, if we get Randall back early, then yeah, I think that that's going to help them a lot more. But with Mitchell
Mm-hmm.
Robinson down low, I don't know how much points you're going to get down low in the paint. I mean, you're going to have to rely on guys like obviously Brunson and R.J. Barrett to be scoring, and guys like Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin is the guy that's probably going to be starting instead of Randall if Randall doesn't come back. And he did just have like a career game at the end of the season, but is that enough? Like, is that enough firepower for? Because on the other side, you got guys like Garland that could score 20, and Mitchell that could score 30 if he wanted to, and like I said, not to mention like Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, who they can go off and get their 15 and 10 if they really wanted to. So I just think,
And
of
Levert.
course, Levert has always played good. He's always like a good 3 and D guy, and his defense is very slept on. That's one guy that you're definitely gonna have to see against Brunson. I think Chris Levert, because I
And that's all that you're exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking about. That they're gonna probably try to put on Brunson just because
that's a
he's
good
long and
that's a
might as
great
well.
matchup actually
You
to
know.
watch that the offense versus the defense there. That is a really good matchup. But for me, honestly, I think that this series it really is going to rely more on the backcourt. Watching when Randall comes back, he does like to shoot threes, but he also loves to back people down, and I want to see him backing down Evan Mobley. I want to see that matchup. That's going to be the dream matchup for me because I think this is pretty much gonna be either Randall series or it's gonna be Donovan Mitchell series, and the Knicks are gonna be so mad if Donovan Mitchell comes out and beats them, and Knicks fans are gonna be mad too, just because they didn't want to pay him an extra like $5 million. Knicks fans are gonna be pissed. They had a chance to get Donovan Mitchell. They had to settle. I mean, not really settle for Jalen Brunson because we didn't know he was going to turn into what he is now. He's pretty much an all-star playing with the Knicks. But I mean, at
Right.
at, at last year's point, like you would have really wanted Mitchell instead of Jalen Brunson, and I still would want that. I still want Mitchell. He's more of a highlight reel. He's got more box office potential and definitely a better shooter than Brunson. But I just think that this is literally like this is Mitchell to show off that he can beat the Knicks. I think that this is a series for him. And honestly, I got Cleveland winning this series. And guess what? I got another 7 game series because I do think this is going to be a close and a pick 'em series. I think both of these teams are going to be able to win 2 in a row at home. So it's going to be 2-2 going into the fifth and sixth games. And then they're going to swap road games and going into game 7 playing in Cleveland. I think Cleveland's going to take over. Mitchell and Mobley are going to take over, and that's how they're going to win it. And I got this a 7 game series. Cleveland wins it. What about you, though? Who you got winning this one?
Truthfully, I definitely do think it's gonna be a great matchup. I do got it as a 7 game series as well. I do think it's gonna be good to see Randall and Brunson going against Garland and Mitchell. Um, but at the end of the day, that Cleveland defense is just gonna be so suffocating. Uh, they got a lot of wing defenders that they can throw on Brunson. And truthfully, a lot of teams pretty much know that when it comes to Randall, all you gotta do is cut him off from his spots. And you really can force him to have a
That
bad game.
the left corner, or
So
not corner, but the left side three, where he always like shoots from the elbow three.
Uh, so the elbow three, and honestly, top of the top right or left, actually no, it's top right of the free throw line at the top of the key, and pretty much down low, coming off his left. So you definitely want to cut off his top spots and just force him to go anywhere else. And I definitely do think that they're going to cause trouble for both him and Brunson. So and like I said, you can't stop both Mitchell and Garland from having off nights. And if you do somehow do that, then unfortunately that means you just let Mobley have a great night. So pretty much, I do think that they're going to overpower it, but it is going to be a tough fought series. Home advantage is going to be very crucial this series. So I do got it as a Cavs 4-3.
Yeah, yeah, I do. I agree with you. The home field is going to be crucial, and I think that's going to show in those first 4 games. I think both of these teams are going to be playing great at home, and honestly, I really want to see 2 guys for the Knicks step it up, and that's how they can win this series. And we really haven't seen much of him, but I want to see Derrick Rose in this series, man. Come on, Derrick Rose needs to show up here. At least a few minutes, at least a few minutes a game. Come on, give us something. Give us some defense. Give us a 3 or 2. Like let's get that crowd hyped up. And also, I want to see Josh Hart make threes for the Knicks. Josh Hart needs to make threes.
Josh Hart's the one that got to step up. Cam Reddish as well. Derrick Rose is not
I
getting any
know he's
playing
not. I
time
know, like, but I want to
uh,
see him though. I know
at
he gets
all.
like barely gets minutes like here and there. He'll get like 10 minutes in every like 5 games, but yeah, he's usually a DNP, but I'm just saying I want to see him. Of course, like we do need to see Emmanuel quickly and obviously RJ Barrett play well in this series. If we really think the Knicks are gonna go 7 games because they need shooting. I mean, without Randall, they're losing a lot of you know firepower plus scoring down low, which is 25 points a game pretty much. So Obi Toppin and quickly and RJ are gonna have to step it up.
Nah, at the end of the day, they like I said, they might throw Levert on Brunson, but if RJ starts going off, or if they feel like he poses a threat, they're gonna leave him on him, and at that point, Mitchell or Garland aren't the greatest defenders. So it's definitely gonna be a thing of matchups and a game of matchups, and it's definitely gonna be dependent on the role players, aka RJ Barrett, um, Chris Karis LeVert, Josh Hart, those people stepping up, even Cam Reddish, to kind of allow pretty much the next star to
Yeah.
breathe.
But I will say this though, I will not be surprised at all if the Knicks win it in 7 either. Like I said, this is a pick'em series, and I think
Oh yeah.
Whatever team, I mean, whatever we see on Game 7, that's who's gonna win it, and it's gonna be close. Like a few games are gonna be decided by 3 points. I could see this series being very close. Both of these teams play close when they play each other, and I'm gonna love watching this series for sure.
Oh yes, I definitely can't wait. And like I said, that's why obviously we wanted to cover who was getting in that seventh seed. But we definitely want 5 matchups right off the bat because these are actually going to be some very good matchups. And obviously that's what you get with 4 and 5. So we definitely are going to be excited to see these series play out.
That's right. So just to recap, for the Western 4-5 matchup, we got the LA Clippers versus the Suns, the Phoenix Suns, and Melo. Who you got winning that series?
I I got the Suns winning in 6.
And I got the Suns winning in 7. And then the Eastern Conference matchup, the 4-5 matchup, is the Cleveland Cavs, actually the New York Knicks versus the Cleveland Cavs, because the Cavs are the 4 seed, Knicks are the 5th seed. Who you got for this one?
I got the Cavaliers winning in
And
7.
same for me. I got the Cavs in 7, baby. So both of these games and series are going to be amazing. Of course, the playing games are going to be great to watch because you do got some firepower in both of those teams that are going to be playing, and a lot of star power in those series that we're talking about, obviously, in the West and the East. So definitely going to be great to watch and a great start to the NBA playoffs.
Oh yes, and like we said, we started off with the NBA play-in and playoffs a couple years ago. Me personally, we cover boxing, we cover UFC, and we cover NBA. I personally love NBA as a sport. It's my favorite sport. And definitely just going on what's going on. We definitely want to pick up baseball this year, so we're going to be adding another sport to who you got. So you'll see that this summer. And definitely this is what our 94th episode.
Yes, sir. Almost hitting that 100 soon
94th
enough, baby.
episode. So almost hitting that 100. So we are going to announce soon on our social media giveaway. We definitely pretty much going to do something on our social media and pretty much make sure we give one of our fans some nice merch and let you guys know how you can pretty much rep and rock who you got.
Definitely. If you guys want to, enter the giveaway contest, make sure you guys go follow us on Facebook. Type in Who You Got Podcast. Check us out on Twitter, Who You Got Podcast, TikTok / Who You Got. Also Instagram, Who You Got Podcast. Pretty much everywhere, or just pretty much follow us on our website. Melo, tell them about the website. That's where they can find everything.
Oh yes, www.whoyougot.com. You'll have everything. I actually will make a post on the homepage about the giveaway, just for anyone who's gonna have some recent traffic. And we'll make sure we give everything you guys need.
Exactly. And if you guys are watching, please like and subscribe to the channel. We love you guys. And also make sure you guys comment down below who you think is gonna win these series that we talked about, or the playing games. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see who wins, but we want to know your thoughts as well. So definitely write down who you think is gonna win down below. Also, check us out
Who you
on our
got?
Patreon. We definitely want to know who you got, y'all. And check us out on the Patreon, because that's the place if you guys want to just write some, questions for the podcast, or just give some general support. Possibly if you guys want to write a topic out,
Yeah.
we could.
I about to say general support. We give shout outs. You can pretty much give us topics to cover in the episode. Higher level support. We got episodes that are never released that you can see there, as well as an old school line of our OG merch, or pretty much our OG logo, to kind of make sure we pretty much let you know that we got all that exclusive stuff for you up there in
Exactly.
Patreon.
And that's patreon.com/who you got podcast. So definitely check us out there. And of course, if you just wanted to follow us on our social media sites, I'm at the Iconic Dude, and Mello.
Melo the Notorious.
That's right. So thank you guys again for watching this episode. It's been a great NBA season. I can't wait to talk about the NBA, more of the NBA playoffs as they come ahead, and we'll definitely be getting into it more. Our next episode is gonna be in a few days, talking about the the rest of the play-in, and we are gonna be talking some more of the playoff matchups. So definitely check us out on the next episode, and we'll see you guys on that Who You Got with Mello. and Rado. Peace, y'all.